In 2017, I met with Jonathan for the first time.
My name is Jonathan Kaiser, and I'm the creator behind Peace by Chocolate, the movie.
When I came to Canada, downtown Halifax was so out of reach. So we opened that store in March of 2021. I think it was something out of this world. You would never ask the person who's holding the most powerful position in the world to get your chocolate bar and hold it in front of all the cameras in the world. We were born 5 minutes away in Damascus. We've never met, so we got married at Pier 21. No one can go back and start a new beginning. Everyone can start today and make a new ending. My name is Tareqs, and here I am.
The Haddad family had been making chocolate for almost 3 decades when the Syrian civil war broke out in late 2012. The bombing of Damascus destroyed their chocolate factory. As a result, the family had to flee to Lebanon. There, they spent 3 years as refugees until they were invited to come to Canada. Upon arriving in Antigonish, the Haddad family found a supportive community and started Peace by Chocolate. Their story caught the attention of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who mentioned it while speaking at the United Nations.
Antigonish is a small community in Nova Scotia. Thanks to their leadership in their community at the beginning of this year, the Haddad family arrived in Antigonish from the refugee camp in Lebanon that had been their home for the past 3 years.
Canadians started selling Peace by Chocolate in stores. And their chocolate even made it to the International Space Station. Fortune continued to follow the family when their Canadian poverty to riches story was made into a film called Peace by Chocolate.
In 2017, actually, I met with Jonathan for the first time.
My name is Jonathan Kaiser, and I'm a film producer, writer, and director, and the creator behind Peace by Chocolate, the movie.
You must be Tareq.
Oh!
Is it that cold?
That's Canada, hun.
Welcome to Antigonish, your new home.
How's she going by, eh?
Where's the town?
This is the town, bud.
I've been with the project shortly after the family arrived. When I look at a story, I think, well, what is that spark? What is that thing that people are going to say, ah? And for us, it was chocolate, right? Who doesn't like chocolate?
Oh my God, they're so good. You guys don't know what you have here. They make the best chocolate.
And what a better way to have a conversation about immigration than through something sweet like chocolate.
We all pitched in and got a community loan. Whoa! Look at this place. This is like a dream.
After arriving in Canada, the family realized their dream. It's called Peace by Chocolate.
And I didn't know how long it takes to make a movie. And then Jonathan would tell me that it takes years, for sure, to take the movie from ideation to production.
Are there any Canadian citizens that can vouch for you?
Justin Trudeau.
Developing a film can be a very long process. I mean, it's been 5-6 years since we came to our initial agreement with the family to tell the story. And just to see it grow year after year and have these different elements.
He lives in LA, but he's from Halifax. I wanted someone to tell the story who really knows what Nova Scotia is all about. I'm a proud Canadian, but I'm also a proud Nova Scotian as much as I'm a proud Syrian. You know, these 3 places make me who I am. So I wanted Jonathan really to reflect on these 3 things very carefully. And it was very difficult, actually, for example, to find cast, to find people who have the Damascus dialect, to find actors who really can do their roles properly. And I think they did a very amazing job.
The Syrian side, the refugee side, that was something that I knew I had to do really, really carefully and make sure that we had a team that would be accurately representing what that struggle is, because I can empathize with it, but I can't relate to it. So, you know, all the actors who play the family are from Syria with the Damascus accent, right? And that was so intentional to make sure it authentically came across on screen. authenticity is number one, right? It has to feel emotionally true. Obviously, as a creator, we take creative license, we move things around, amalgamate characters, make it most dramatically interesting. But in the end, I can't imagine having a film where, you know, you have a Syrian family and they're speaking English inside the house and they just moved to Canada. It just makes absolutely no sense. Not only are they Syrian actors, but they all went through the same story that the Tareqs went through. They all lost their homes. They've all had to come to Canada as newcomers. So it was not even acting, it was just telling their own story on camera.
The production and the filming happened in January of 2020. It was the month of my citizenship. So we went to Montreal a week before my citizenship ceremony and we did a cameo scene for grand opening. So if you watch the movie, you'll be able to see me at the back of that grand opening scene, smiling more than anybody else, because I'm like, that real Tareq guy is in the back of that room and that Tareq guy in the movie is just in the front. And it was a surreal moment.
The real Isam and the real Frank became special friends despite the language barrier.
وتركته كلياته شيك يعني ما عاد في شيء إنه يعني استعجل مشانه بصراحة.
Yeah, he was like he lost the value of that life.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, Papa.
Okay, Papa.
That friendship that was built not based on language, but based on pure gestures of humanity. They absolutely have learned that, you know, the only difference between them is the place of their birth. And I love that for many reasons, because for people that they are at the age of my father, it was very difficult for him even to grasp on the idea, how am I going to learn the new language at this age? How am I going to make friendships, you know, in a country that I don't know anyone in?
Bye, Hazza. You think we'll make it? Let's see. Let's go, Papa.
I called him Papa. He called me Papa. And we found a way to connect. And for me, one of the richest things in our relationship is we, in a sense, became brothers to some degree.
The scene when Frank would tell my father that we are not friends, that we are brothers.
We're not friends.
Brothers.
Was we just had human connectivity. And that's, to me, what a big part of my experience with a refugee family was. It was an opportunity for a rich, deep connection with a man that I happened to just connect really nicely with. Like, we just enjoyed working together.
I attended the movie screening from the far east of the world to the US. I've seen full rooms. They had no clue what Piece of Chocolate was about. But when they left, they would be telling me that they are inspired to make a change and help other, you know, people that they are struggling around the world. Because you never know the impact of small acts of kindness.
I think the biggest thing we can learn from a story like the Tareqs is that not to take anything for granted, right? I think if you were a Syrian and before the civil war started, your life, you know, may have seemed okay. Things are okay, right? But things can change in an instant, right? You can become a refugee. We all can become a refugee, and hope that if that ever does happen, that somebody will be there with open arms to help you.
It was absolutely one of the most surreal moments that I have lived through. I'm really lucky to have that spot. I got married to the love of my life that changed everything. So in the beginning of 2020, we started talking a little bit about opening our own retail stores. At the time, we did not have much retail focus. We were just wholesaling or direct-to-consumer shipping. But after the pandemic, we realized everyone was really excited about that experiential stuff. We were missing on the artisan line. We're missing on the drinks. We're missing on the hot chocolate. We're missing on how do we make coffee. We've never really sold coffee in our lives. How do you really make sure that the experience is great? We started construction back in 2020 at the Queen's Mark in Halifax. We're really lucky to have that spot. I think it is absolutely one of the most prime spots in the province. Like, I didn't really know how people were really excited about the idea of us opening a chocolate shop in Halifax until after the opening in March of 2021. And that was because I think in the pandemic I was underestimating how much comfort chocolate was providing to people. So we're really lucky to work with the best in the field to design that store to as well reflect our culture, right? And using arches and that teal color that just jumps at you right when you step into that store was really a replica of what we had in our buildings in Damascus. As the customers that they are stepping into that door, we want them to be really happy because people first will come for the story. They will come for the message. Probably they watched a movie or they read the book or they've seen an interview of my family. They've learned about the story one way or another. But they're gonna come second time because they love the product, right?
Have a good day.
While Tareq was still basking in the success of their flagship store opening, President Joe Biden visited Canada, and Peace by Chocolate was about to receive worldwide recognition.
And the co-leader of the Green Party, Elizabeth May, was in our shop in Antigonish a week before President Biden came to Canada, and then she would see a picture of Nancy Pelosi holding a chocolate bar when the Prime Minister went to Washington, and then he just gifted her our chocolate bars after the Raptors won the NBA championship. And then she thought, Elizabeth May, to herself, that probably would be great to buy a Canadian gift made by Syrian newcomers and gift it to the president in front of all the cameras. In the spring of 2023, I was in Ottawa. I was invited to go to the dinner with President Biden. I got an invitation from the Prime Minister. Around noon of the same day, I would start getting all these emails and calls from people say congratulations, and I really had no clue what they were talking about. And then we'd watch that video that in front of all the media of the world. And it was just really amazing that, she kept it hidden until really she was shaking hands with the president, and then she would give it to him. And then the president would look at it, and then the Prime Minister would take it from him because he had to sign the guest book on Parliament Hill. And then the Prime Minister would give it to someone, who would give it to someone, who would give it to someone. They will hide the chocolate bar. And then when the president was just leaving, Elizabeth May reminded the president that he should not forget his chocolate bar, or we will be in a diplomatic conflict with the United States because we just depleted the president from his chocolate bar. And then the president would be looking around, and it was like, where is my chocolate bar, right? He came back for it. I think it was something out of this world. It was surreal because you would never ask probably the person who's holding the most powerful position in the world to get your chocolate bar and hold it in front of all the cameras in the world. It was absolutely one of the most surreal moments that I have lived through because you can't ask for this stuff and you can't imagine it. It was absolutely one of the loveliest moments of my life.
Tareq and Peace by Chocolate had a fantastic start to 2023. But destiny had one more surprise for Tareq. It came as an unexpected encounter when attending a conference in Alberta.
We met very randomly. She was living in Edmonton, and I just got to know that she is an excellent photographer. I reached out to Mila. I said, I'm here in the city. I would really love if we can meet up to take some photos. And it was a freezing night in Edmonton. I would be standing on my feet and I would be frozen to death almost and waiting for her to come to take the photos. It was a beautiful spot. So she would show up and then she would just start taking shots. Actually, we did not talk at all. Before that, it was just like, she was like, stand like this, or like raise your feet. Don't do that, walk slowly. She was giving me all these instructions. And then I realized, well, she is a really great photographer. And then she would send me these pictures right after I got back to my hotel.
After that, when we started talking more, get to know him more, after seeing his family too, like when a guy shows you the family, you'd feel more safe because no one want to risk their family if they're scamming somebody. Yeah. So he was not a scammer, but he scammed me actually. He scammed me into this marriage. Yeah.
I realized that we have so much in common that it was unbelievable. We were born 5 minutes away in Damascus. We've never met. Our families never connected. They went to Egypt, we went to Lebanon. So we started talking, and then I said, well, I think I'm stuck. And she couldn't get rid of me afterwards. We got married in Halifax. We got married at Pier 21, the Museum of Immigration. My dad actually spent a lot of time just preparing our wedding's chocolate, and the staff at the factory, they were all amazing. I think every piece that was made and is made at that factory is certainly made with love, because people know whoever's going to enjoy that piece of chocolate, they're going to remember them for quite some time. So that's why I think my dad took a lot of time before the wedding, because it was the best gift that he could have given me. That same room that I got my citizenship in has a lot of memories for me. So I remember, in 2020 I got married to Canada, and in 2023 I got married to the love of my life that changed everything.
What are the world's most peaceful countries, and what do they have in common?
We want everyone to focus on our common humanity.
Life is all about reinvention, it's about renewal, it's about resilience.
Through his public speaking engagements, Tareq hopes to discuss and promote initiatives that will lead to a more peaceful society. A notable initiative included partnering with the Delaire Institute for an event in Halifax, exploring the 2023 Global Peace Index findings.
I would like to introduce you to Michael Collins to tell you a little bit more about the Institute for Economics and Peace.
And primarily, simplifying the work that we do to the nth degree, we try and answer the two following questions. What are the world's most peaceful countries, and what do they have in common? It's the first time that we've actually presenting findings from the Global Peace Index in Canada, which is a wonderful opportunity for us, largely, again, in this case, leveraging the extensive networks that Peace by Chocolate has. There is a lot in a name, right? I mean, choosing to have that in a name is really indicative of where the organization stands in terms of mission, and one of the reasons why we felt so comfortable aligning and collaborating with the organization a lot more closely.
What other examples of local actions, being kind to our neighbors, volunteering in our community, like what other local actions would you promote us to do to help, spread global peace?
So we produced this positive peace index, which is parallel to the global peace index. The statistical correlation between improvements in peacefulness and gender equity is 0.71, with the maximum score being a 1-to-1 ratio, essentially. So as and when there are high levels of gender equity, we see improvements in peacefulness. Now,
it's about the little details. Women, that they are not still having their voices heard, they're not participating, or not part of the political process, for example. So this was eye-opening for me on many levels. And I really hope that what we started today can continue, because I hope everyone who is in the room today can learn the art of being a peace ambassador, because everyone has the tools and the mechanism to do so. Canada was kicked out of the top 10 most peaceful countries in the world, so we need to discuss how we can bring it back. I think it is very important for everyone across the globe that Canada stay on the top 10 list, because the other peaceful nations that we saw on the top 10 list as well, I don't think they use their platforms as much as Canada does really to promote the welcomeness, to promote the openness, to promote the human rights. Other countries are a lot more silent towards issues like child soldiers or towards issues affecting women across the world. So I think Canada has that platform. I think it should be used.
It is a wonderful partnership to be able to partner with Peace by Chocolate in my home province of Nova Scotia, and to be able to use that opportunity to try to impact the world. Our work is essentially trying to get the world to understand that we cannot talk about peace and security if we don't address how children are impacted and how they are critical to the future of the ways in which our world will operate. Both in Tareqs' work and the Delaire Institute's work, what we want everybody to focus on is how we can come together to create peace. And so if it's through chocolate, if it's through children, in both of those instances, we want everyone to focus on our common humanity and not on what our differences are.
The moment that I landed at the Halifax airport, I was going down the stairs and I saw a group of amazing Canadians carrying flowers and signs with my name in it, in Arabic and in English, with Canadian flags. And they drove 2 hours to the airport on that cold December night to welcome me without knowing me. They didn't care about my background. They didn't care about my religion. They didn't care about my ethnicity. They didn't care about my skin color. They didn't care about my goals, about my dreams, as much as they cared that I am a human being seeking safety and peace. Because that is the true meaning of peace and how you can offer peace to those who lost it. And I really encourage all of you to think about that for a moment, because in a time when anger and anxiety and fear sell very easy, I think we should be the sellers of peace, we should be the sellers of love, and we should be the sellers of kindness. We believe that there is place for positivity, there is space for kindness, there's space for compassion, there's space for empathy, there's space for respect, there's space for human rights, there's space for freedoms. The world is not only about anger and fear and those who really exploit us for their own gains. I think the community of Antigonish has certainly proven to us that you can find peace even in the smallest of towns. Moving from a big city of Damascus of millions of people to a small town of 5,000 has certainly demonstrated that great sense of humanity.
Peace by Chocolate had formed the Peace on Earth Society to formalize their support for peace-building projects.
The Peace on Earth Society is an umbrella for our partnership with indigenous communities like Baknikik next to Antigonish, Refugee Hub in Ottawa, Institute for Economics and Peace that we just formed last year, Trans-Canada Trail, the Canadian Mental Health Association, and many other causes. I was really happy as well to share with the audience how our company was just trying to set an example to other companies, hopefully to step up. It's a mutual responsibility. It's not one individual's effort really that can create a world peace. My priority right now is really to make sure that I am using all my time to make sure that we are contributing to the world to raise awareness about the importance of peace. And I say that peace is about passion, enthusiasm, advocacy, contribution, and excellence. So until really we make sure that we can be passionate enough about this world, that we can be seeking excellency to make sure that we are living the world more perfect than we found it. You need to be selfless in all aspects of your life. Without selflessness, I don't think really we'll be able to accomplish anything as humanity. Contribution is about really celebrating what you have and giving those who don't have it a chance to level up and have an opportunity to be successful. What matters the most in business is not really getting a customer, but celebrating a community. And that's why we are going to need this more and more and more, because governments are so late to tackle crises like climate change or refugee movements or wildfires or whatever happens in our communities and across the world. And that's why since we started, we just realized that philanthropy was really the most enjoyable part of running a business. Any newcomer, any refugee, any person who had lost the sight of or the light at the end of the tunnel, always keep hustling, because life is all about celebrating the second chances. Life is all about reinvention. It's about renewal. It's about resilience. As Mary Robinson once said, that no one can go back and start a new beginning, but everyone can start today and make a new ending. I'm Tareq.
And I am Mila.
And here I am.